Read a little story, just a real quick story, and give you an idea of what the show is going to be doing this week. An explorer was lost in the jungles of South America, and he struck out in a dozen different directions, but none of them led anywhere. He finally studied a narrow canyon, which at first glance had appeared valueless, but the exploration proved that this was the road leading back to his camp. And you can have a similar experience if you're baffled by life, because life, simply remember that the answer exists in a totally new direction sometimes. And here at Open House Radio, our show, our idea is to start you off in the direction leading to what is truly worthwhile to you. And I want to say, have no concern. I'm reading, by the way, from someone which I'll tell you exactly in a second what this is from. Have no concern if our descriptions of human life seem surprising or shocking or different from your present views, because the right road always seems surprising at first. But this very surprise is also your first invitation to a much loftier level of living. Choose freedom. Choose freedom from the human jungle, and that's all you need to do in order to start. Your very choice is an expression of affection for the true and the happy. And say along with Henry David Thoreau, and I quote, "I know of no other more encouraging fact than the unquestionable ability of a man to elevate his life by a conscious endeavor." So step forward with a conscious endeavor to understand human life in order to change your life. Sorry, I'm out of breath here. I just ran, believe it or not. You're not going to believe. By the way, those were the words of Vernon Howard. And Vernon Howard is a philosophical genius. He died a few years back, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you a little more about him as the show goes on. We're going to touch on a few of his points and philosophies that I think are very, very important. And although this is primarily a real estate talk show, and we talk about real estate investments, we talk about real estate in general, the market, what's going to happen, we also try to incorporate certain other types of life value lessons, because the idea here and our tagline for this show is Open House Radio, we're here to make your life better. And that's exactly what we're going to do, is we are going to make your life better. So I want to open the phones up if some people want to call in, and I hope you do, because we're going to be talking about a lot of very interesting subjects this week, including I want to find out what your concerns perhaps are. We're going to have our legal expert, Scott Basson, on the phone with us in just a couple of minutes. He's already on the line. We're going to talk to him. We're also going to have my partner in in the radio and business, and also in the real estate business that we do, and we'll talk a lot about that, Jean-Marc Landau, who also will be on the phone. He's going to be calling in this week. Everybody's out of town. You know how August is. People leave town, so we're going to talk to both of them about loans and finance. We're going to talk about some emerging markets, some trends. We're going to find out what your concerns are and what some things that you might want as far as getting your life going on the track that you want it to be on. So that's the focus of the show today and forevermore. We're going to have a segment on multi-unit investing, which I think you'll find very interesting if you're interested in multi-unit residential property. We talk quite a bit about that on this show. We always talk about good inventory and things that you might need to help build your portfolio in real estate if you're into real estate. We're also going to have a weekly feng shui segment. Tell me if I said that wrong. Did I say that right, Kevin? Feng shui? Feng shui. How do you say it right for me? Go ahead. Feng shui. See, I don't even know how to say it. Somebody's going to have to call me up and keep track of me here. A feng shui segment. Kevin's my engineer, by the way, folks, so he's going to help me out today since I'm all alone in the studio. Nobody else with me here except him and me on Sunday morning with you. Live, I might add, on KDOW. So feel free to call in. The number, if you have a question, you might start lining the phones up right now. And we're going to give away something to the best question of the day. So if you're interested, go ahead and call us. The number is 800-516-1220. That's 800-516-1220. My name is Howard Cohen. This is Open House Radio. We're going to take a short break now, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to talk to Scott Basson, the attorney that we have in our studio and one of our legal experts, and the main legal expert that we deal with on Open House Radio. And then when we come back from that, we'll probably have Jean-Marc on the phone and hopefully take some questions from the audience and the listeners. Okay? So give us a quick quick, get your coffee refill, and we'll be right back.
Hi, this is Merlin Rothfeld, host of Power Trading Radio, live at 3 p.m. every day right here in the Bay Area on KDOW 1220 AM, where we talk about real trades, real people, and real money. Our sponsor, Online Trading Academy, has over 18,000 graduates worldwide, so they really understand how to help traders and investors get the most out of their money. Here's what some of our students have to say.
In May, we took $6,700 in our equities account and turned it into $34,000 by month's end. We were able to capitalize on the stock market crashing.
The Online Trading Academy education has definitely improved my life. It's given me the freedom to know that I don't need a day job.
Call Online Trading Academy right now at 877-338-TRADE and schedule your free half-day class, and you'll receive a free 7-Pillars CD course worth $99, absolutely free, yours just for attending. So call 877-338-TRADE right now. Again, that's 877-338-8723. Call today and change your financial future.
You're listening to Open House Radio on AM 1220 KDOW.
Washington is hotter than ever. With all the heat between Congress, the White House, and lobbyists, you can depend on hot air to shine a light on the issues that matter. Log on to hotair.com and discover something different. Insightful commentary on everything from the economy and the federal deficit to healthcare and taxation. Hotair.com is the #1 political blog online, and it belongs on your online list of favorites. Log on today and find out what you've been missing at hotair.com. Hotair.com.
Phil Grundy doesn't believe the economy is in a recovery.
They keep telling us there's been a recovery. Everybody tells you, oh, we're in the middle of recovery, right? The economy is healing.
The U.S. economy is absolutely healing.
He's an idiot. It's not healing. We have gone from dismal to butt ugly. So they are going to be forced to do another stimulus. It's going to be needed. The market's going to go up for a while, and then it's going to not work anymore.
Phil's Gang, weekdays at noon and 9 on the Bay Area's business leader, 1220 KDOW.
If you're the mother of a child with behavior problems, I'd like to talk to you. My name is Janet Lehman. I'm a behavioral therapist and a mom. I know what it's like when the child you love becomes a defiant, out-of-control child who disrespects you. That's why my husband James and I created the Total Transformation, the program that tens of thousands of moms are now using to turn around their child's behavior. If you've heard about the Total Transformation and wondered if it will work for you, now you can try it for free. I'm willing to give away 1,000 programs today for free. All you need to do is get the program and let us know how it works for you. We'll let you keep it for free. I know the Total Transformation works because I used these techniques with my own son and with troubled kids for over 30 years. Let me prove to you that it works by giving you the program for free.
Call now. 1-800-458-0896. 1-800-458-0896. That's 1-800-458-0896.
You're listening to Open House Radio on AM 1220 KDOW.
All right, welcome back to Open House Radio. My name is Howard Cohen, and that's a good intro. I like Fall Out Boy, but you know we're heavy deep in the middle of the Outside Lands Festival, which I've been spending the last couple of days at. I'm recovering. It's quite interesting. I'm having a really good time down there at Golden Gate Park. If any of you are down there, look for me. I'll be the guy in the I guess the KDOW hat. How's that? Down at Muse when fish were awesome. The Black Keys were incredible yesterday. Today I'm going to go see John Fogerty this afternoon. It's pretty awesome. So if you can make it down there, you got some time still today. You got the Outside Lands Festival down at Golden Gate Park, and we will be there this afternoon after the show. All right, I've got Scott Basson, our legal expert, on the phone with us, and let's see if he's there. Scott, are you on the line?
I am, Howard. How are you this morning?
Excellent. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing fine.
Good, good. You're on vacation, right?
Oh, yeah. I've been in the beautiful state of Hawaii for the last 2 weeks.
Nice. I know. Isn't it great? I love Hawaii so much. And we talk quite a bit about some real estate in Hawaii, so hopefully you'll be looking for some as you go for us, keeping your eyes open for something under, like a couple $100,000 at least.
I'm always looking, Howard.
Sounds good. All right, so, we're here. This is our first week up in the Bay Area. I was rushing. I couldn't believe it. I almost missed the show this morning because I didn't realize how the BART system worked, that we have a little delay on Sunday morning getting to town and doesn't open until 8 o'clock, and I'm in the city, and the actual studio's out in Fremont, so it took me a little while to get here this morning. It was really tough, so but I made it.
You also have to be careful if you're coming from the airport late at night because they shut down at midnight.
Oh, man, really? I didn't know that either. See, okay, good. I have to make sure I catch up on all the transit directions around here. Right. So, all right, well, listen, we're talking today's segment, I think we're going to do on balancing and positioning. The whole show, we're kind of like talking throughout the next few weeks, at least as we get situated here up in the Bay, on what the main focus of everybody is going to be. Like, we want to know how can we best assist the clients that call us when they want to find out some information. And depending on what that information is, of course, whether it's about real estate or about contracts or about legal issues having to do with real estate or contracts or just life in general, basically, because we're here to try to figure out how to make people's lives better, how to put some problems at rest and maybe make them not so much of a difficulty. And part of the way to do that, of course, is by positioning yourself in advance and trying to figure out some of the best things that you can do up front before they become a problem. Is that something you hear in your practice a bit about? I mean, is that what you deal with as far as trying to get people, before the problem arises sometimes?
Well, I mean, that's always the best way to deal with any situation. If you can avoid the problem, or you're much better off than having to deal with it when you're in the thick of it. Most often people will call me or an attorney once they're actually in the problem. Most often people will try to deal with their issues on their own, and then they'll seek legal assistance when things do become a problem. It is a good idea, however, if you're doing real estate investment, particularly if you're in a multi-unit situation as a landlord, to get some groundwork and get your agreements together and get yourself so that you can avoid problems that may come up, and you can be aware of what issues you're going to have to be dealing with as an investor or as a landlord.
Can you give us an example of perhaps something that might come up for somebody that it would be a good idea to deal with up front before it becomes a problem?
Well, as I said, as a landlord, it's a good idea if you can have your agreements ready, and as well, also as a landlord, there are issues that come up from time to time. There's repair issues. There are issues of keeping your place habitable. You've got to know what the requirements are for you as a landlord, and there are quite a few of them that you have to be on top of before things turn into a problem.
Now that also represents itself in another way, which I always look at it as cost-saving method. By bringing more money to your bottom line, makes it easier. By keeping things up, you don't have to get into these huge expensive repairs all at once. Sometimes when things break, it keeps your vacancy factor down, which, as we all know, is a very, very costly amount of somebody's expenses is vacancy. Probably the number one expense people have is vacancy. And it also helps, bringing your rents up if you're able to deal with these problems in advance and have good management of your properties. So it affects it in so many positive ways, that preparation that you can do prior to, like you say, getting into a problem, right?
Well, you mentioned keeping your maintenance up. Yeah, that's a real critical issue if you've got tenants, because one way or another you're going to have to keep your property in good shape and in good repair. And if you don't do it while you've got existing tenants, the tenants are going to move out, and then you're going to lose rent that you would have had otherwise. that you could have avoided if you'd done the maintenance to begin with. You're going to have to pay for the maintenance one way or another. So why come out of pocket not only to cover the maintenance, but then also have to deal with vacancy losses while you put the place back together and then have to re-rent it again?
Yeah, it's true. And, part of the problem, I mean, we deal with all this kind of stuff every day, but, I mean, part of the problem people who don't deal with it every day run into, especially when they're looking to purchase property, is that they run up against these false expense reports that are shown to them. And normally they're going to look at these things and say, okay, the expenses come at 20% or 25% or whatever it might be, including the management and taxes and everything that they're going to have to pay the water for their property. But what ends up happening is because of the vacancy factor, because of poor management and deferred maintenance, things end up costing actually a lot more. And when you look at the bottom line of these properties that are in disrepair or you haven't really done the calculations correctly or gotten the right numbers from the prior owner, you end up with a lot higher expenses, and you actually don't make money, and which is part of the problem with people run into when they buy property without really doing the proper due diligence and investigation into that.
Well, due diligence really is critical because it's not unusual for somebody who's trying to sell a property to fill it up with tenants that are not necessarily desirable. They'll show on their income and expense statement that they've got scheduled income, but they don't necessarily show that the tenants are actually paying it. So you can take over a property that shows that it should be making money when in fact it's losing money, and since you're not the one that's dealing with the rent checks and the bank statements, you don't actually know that until you become the owner. So it is critical that you do your due diligence and you check those things out very carefully before you buy.
Yeah, you have to get the actual deposits. You want to see, and then you hear the story, of course, we get a lot of money in cash from some of our tenants, which, that's a red flag right away when you see that one. So
that's a tremendous red flag. It's better never to deal with cash. It puts the whoever's collecting those rents at risk. If you've got management people, they don't want to be dealing with cash because all you're doing is making them a target.
Exactly. That's a good point. I want to give out the numbers. If anybody wants to call in and ask a question right now, you can call in live. We're here in the studio. At least I'm in the studio. You guys are off gallivanting around the country. I'm going to have Jean-Marc, my partner, my mortgage expert, on in just 1 second, and my real estate partner. He's off in Missouri, and you're off in Hawaii, and I'm here in beautiful downtown San Francisco, actually Fremont, which is beautiful out here too. So I don't mind being here. If you want to call in and ask us a question, anything, we'll talk about anything today. It doesn't even have to be on topic, whatever that may be. The number is 800-516-1220. That's 800-516-1220. I want you to call me and ask me some questions and tell me what you're interested in talking about because, it's a wide open world out there, especially with the way things are in finances right now with loans, with trying to refinance properties and modify loans. We're going to talk a little bit about that, of course, over the next few weeks. And then I got some feedback. I think Scott fell off the line there.
No, I'm still here.
Oh, you're still there? Okay, good. I thought I lost you. All right, well, I think now's a good time. We'll take a commercial break, and then we'll come back in just a couple minutes. We'll talk to Jean-Marc, and we'll get Scott. Scott will still be on the line, I think, with us for a little while. So if you have any questions for him, free legal. Come on, you don't get this opportunity that often to get free legal advice from an expert. So give us a call, 800-516-1220. My name is Howard Cohen. This is Open House Radio, and we are here to make your life better. Give us a call. Talk to you in a minute.
Do you have more than 4 hot flash episodes a day? Do you ever wake up at night soaked in sweat? Do you experience mood swings, heightened emotions, or sometimes feel on the verge of tears? Have you gained more than 5 pounds? Have you lost the energy level you had before menopause? Do you have low libido or no interest at all? If you said yes to any of these questions, you may be suffering with severe menopause symptoms and you qualify to receive a free month supply of Amberin. Amberen is the incredibly effective, all-natural solution for menopause relief. It's backed by published clinical trials and 30 years of research. It has helped thousands of women get free from the awful symptoms of menopause. Call now and ask how you can receive 30 days of Amberen free of charge. Free supplies are limited, so go to AmberenTrial.com. That's AmberenTrial.com. Or call 1-800-706-8022. That's 1-800-706-8022. 1-800-706-8022.
Hey folks, Jack Marujan here, inviting you to start the trading day with me on the Jack B Show, where Pit Smarts meet Street Smarts weekdays at 6 right here on Biz 1220. Did you know that 90% of the general public ends up on the wrong side of the markets? I don't want you to be one of those people. I want you to be one of the 10% that ends up on the right side of the markets. The Jack B Show is your daily source for financial news that you can use, plus insight and analysis with an eye on my favorite markets, the futures.
The Jack B Show, weekday mornings at 6 a.m. on AM 1220 KDOW. You're listening to Open House Radio on AM 1220 KDOW.
All right, if you hear those barking dogs, then you know that is Jane's Addiction. And I happen to be a partner with that drummer right there, Stephen Perkins, my buddy and one of my best friends in life. From Jane's Addiction, we do a show called American Rock Exchange, and they're off on tour, running around the country, coming out with a new album pretty soon. So if you're into Jane's Addiction, which hopefully you are, because Steven is one of the hottest drummers in all of rock and roll, definitely check that out and listen to me. And, you know, you can reach me on the web. You can go on the email, and you can get us anytime. And I encourage, people to send me email. We've been doing this show for about 8 years, syndicated out in Los Angeles, up here in the Bay Area for a while. And I encourage you guys to call me and, look us up and come take us out to golf. We golf, by the way. We play tennis, we golf. We eat lunch. If you want to take us out, me and my partners, we free consultation over a round of golf. You get us for a few hours at a time. It's awesome. And it's a lot of fun. So if you have any questions, you can give us a call right now anytime on the radio station at 800-516-1220. That's 800-516-1220. Hey, Kevin, is there any way to take the sound down in my headphones a little bit? It's a little bit loud. It's reverberating back on me. All right, we've got Jean-Marc, my good friend and business partner, on the phone. And we're going to talk about some loans and some trends. Jean-Marc, are you on the phone right now with us?
I am.
Hey, there you are. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. I'm standing roadside in a field in Kansas, near the Missouri border.
Careful. Don't get swept up by a tornado or anything.
I'm working on it.
You'll wind up in the land of Oz. Although I think we might want to be in the land of Oz, actually. It didn't sound so bad from the movie.
Very true, very true.
But you're in Kansas. Get it? Get the connection there? That's why I'm saying that. Anyway, bad joke. All right, so I'm giving everybody the number to call in, and when they call in and they're going to talk to us, and we're going to consult with them in the office, here in San Francisco, hopefully, because a lot, we can do it over the phone, we can do our webinars, and we can talk to them over, the Skype and everything. But at the same time, we are local here in the city. We have an office in town, and we want to talk to you about, we do free consultation. We are investment consultants. I'm not going to say Scott does free consultation. Right, Scott? Are you on the line there, Scott, too?
I'm here. Yeah, you'd have to call my office and make an appointment.
I'm not going to put it out there for you. But as far as Jean-Marc and I are concerned, we actually do free consultation as far as the real estate and investment aspect of what we talk about on the radio. And we want to help people, and that's our main goal in dealing with clients and listeners, is to help people to obtain their real estate goals and to obtain their wealth building ability to the point where they can do whatever they want. They can retire, they can have passive income coming in. So we've actually got a caller on the line, I see, that's asking a question about that. So let's talk to Jean-Marc for just a second, and we'll get to Sam over there on the phone. Jean-Marc, tell us something about what we were talking about the other day in the office about some deals transactions we were trying to help refinance some people with, right?
Well, I mean, we were talking about many things, so I'm not quite sure what your intent is. I can certainly start talking.
Well, I remember we were talking about. I'm going to talk about some properties that we have, and one of the properties that we were dealing with last week. It's going to be a little difficult for people to get financed in a traditional way, right? I mean,
right.
And we were discussing some of the possibilities that maybe we could, kind of push them towards, or at least investigate on their behalf, right?
Right. Now, one of the things that's happening in the markets, the lenders have gotten very, very conservative, despite all the money that was given to them to supposedly loan out. That is not really getting to the consumer. So, both the property and the borrower have to pass incredible amounts of tests. And one of the trends I've seen recently is as soon as you have a property that doesn't quite fit the mold, I have a fourplex in an area that apparently there are no other driveways for the fourplexes, so they can't find comparable sales, so they can't evaluate it, quote unquote. That one is turning out to be very difficult to finance, and we're going to have to go to a essentially private money source.
Okay, now that's kind of where I'm going with this, is the private money thing. I mean, right now, because traditional financing is a little bit harder to obtain, that doesn't mean people still aren't going to be able to buy property, right? It just means we're going to be able to have to switch them into a little bit different, non-traditional way of financing things.
Right, absolutely.
Now, you're getting, by the way, you're getting a lot of wind on your phone. I don't know if you're standing in a field, like you said, in a field of green grass or not. But
I am literally in a field of green grass. The way I'm turned now, is that better?
That's a little bit better, yeah. Yeah,
okay.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't want to blow people out of their cars as they're driving along there listening to it.
Right. So no, I mean in the essentially the bankless economy, there are certainly opportunities both for buyers and investors that are open to doing loans. To buy a property that can't be bought traditionally or can't be financed traditionally, typically the price is going to come down. The price and interest rates paid are inextricably linked. When someone is looking at buying an investment property, the payment
getting a lot of feedback there, JM, on the mic. Sorry, it's just really loud.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to duck behind the car.
That's okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, I can just imagine you crouched out in the middle of a field right now trying to talk to us on the phone from Missouri. But, hey, it is what it is. I almost didn't make it. I don't know if you heard the beginning of the show. I almost missed the whole show to begin with because of the train. So we're all good. We're all good. So,
okay.
I'm sorry. Keep going.
So, no, when you're buying an investment property, you're essentially buying a business. So you have to look at what cash is coming in, what cash is going out. And one of the things going out, of course, is the mortgage payments. And if you're getting a 4% mortgage versus an 8% mortgage, you're obviously going to be willing to pay more for something where you can qualify for a 4% mortgage than at 8%.
Right, because you can afford it.
Right. It's just cash flow. So the properties that don't qualify for a 4% mortgage, don't qualify for bank financing, actually can be financed. There's no real issue other than the fact that you're going to pay a little more for it. So you still get it financed. From a buyer's standpoint, you can pick up some very nice properties for reasonable amounts that still work. From a lender-investor standpoint, there are many people who have money sitting in an IRA account or a savings account at 0.2% or 1% interest, really not making a whole lot. And I'm not even talking about the craziness of the market that's happened recently and in more recent months. But if you have money sitting in an IRA account, it is fairly easy to invest that and loan it out to someone at 7 or 8 or 9% on a property that makes absolute sense. The only thing that doesn't quite fit is the type regulation. The banks have certain appraisal guidelines. This fourplex, for example, is a perfect example.
Well, let's before we get into the fourplex and the examples, I want to talk about a fourplex too. We have a caller on the line, so let's talk to her. It's a woman named Sam. Sam, are you there?
Yeah. Good morning, Howard. How are you guys?
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Fine. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. We got everybody on the line. So, what's your question?
Okay, my question is, I'm pretty new at this. I'm just starting out, and I'm thinking about buying a property in Big Bear as an investment for, as a rental property so I can get some extra income coming in. But I don't know, how would I go about doing that?
Okay, I know there's some questions. I'm sure we're going to have to ask you a couple of things. And what's the story as far as your income and all that? You work and you have any money, down payment?
Yeah, and I've got money for down payment. I've got a little extra money to spend, a little bit of an inheritance, so I'm looking to make an investment, and I don't know which way I should, where I should put my money.
Now, why Big Bear? I mean, if we're up here in the Bay, so a lot of people may not know Big Bear is like east of L.A., a couple hours east of L.A. Resort. It's a resort town.
Right. Well, I used to go up there with my family and the kids, and it's a great little town, and the houses are great, and the people are wonderful, and I, just thought maybe that would be a good place to buy. It's I've been looking online, and the prices have certainly dropped tremendously. So.
Okay, so Jean-Marc, what do you think about that? And I've got my opinion on this too, of course, but go ahead. Give us.
Okay. Well, I mean, anytime you're buying in a resort area like Big Bear, one of the things you need to look at is what the rental market is like. And are you going to be able to rent that out just in the summer, just in the winter, both? What happens in spring and fall? Really, what is the income? Assuming this is an income property.
Right.
This is an income property, right? You're not going to plan to live in the house that you buy?
No. I'm not going to plan to live in it. I'd like to buy it and lease it out, like a long-term lease.
Got it. And is that like an eventual retirement for yourself when you decide to retire?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
Okay.
Definitely an option.
My thoughts on this are, go ahead, Jean-Marc, you finish what you were saying, and then I'll give my opinion here.
Well, no, I mean, once you come up with a realistic income on it, then you can analyze what the cash flow on the property is going to be. Qualifying for a loan if you have income should not be an issue. You can certainly qualify for an institutional loan on that with that type of property, assuming there are other single-family homes around, which there are.
Yeah, and I think the main concern obviously is going to be, like you said, rental. Are you going to really be able to rent that property out? And if you're not necessarily planning to live in it anytime soon, I'm not necessarily sure Big Bear may not be the right perfect investment for you as just a purely investment standpoint. Because, I happen to know the market a little bit out there, and it doesn't really go up a lot real quickly. And unless you're able to really get a super, super good price on the property, then it may not make 100% sense to go into that as an investment opportunity comparatively to some other areas that you might be able to do. And that's my thought on that. So, from purely an investment standpoint.
Right, because that's what it would be.
Yeah. That's really where you're looking. So, we have to keep it in terms of, as Jean-Marc said a minute ago, when you buy a building, you're buying a business. You're not just buying, hey, I like Big Bear. That's great. You can always go live there.
Right, I heard that. I was listening to that, and the bell went off. That makes sense.
Good. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Glad something we say makes sense.
One of the things that happens anytime you're buying property in an area that has gone down quite a bit, obviously, if you're expecting the trend to go back up and you're buying at a great price, it pulls at your desire to buy it, and you're thinking, I'll make money on the resale. But A, if you're not going to resell it, that doesn't help you. And B, the property has to make sense on a cash flow ongoing basis.
Right.
Before you look at the appreciation in the markets.
Right.
So whether it's a single-family home or multifamily or other commercial property, you look at the ongoing cash flow and does that make sense? And obviously, if you're going to try to choose an upward trending market to buy into, so you're buying at the bottom of the market or close to it. But long term, having the value go up allows you to resell at any point that you want.
Right, and that's basically a good segue right there into our next segment, which we're going to talk a little about emerging micro markets and markets that are long-term as far as, holding their price and stuff. We got to take a break right now. We're going to take a quick commercial, and when we come back, we will stay on the line with Jean-Marc, talk more about loans. If you want to give us a call and ask a question, thank you, Sam. It was nice talking to you. You can also reach us by email. The letter U, radioshow@yahoo.com is my email. The letter U, radioshow@yahoo.com. You can get on the investment hot sheet list at investmenthotsheet.com, investmenthot.sheet.com, or give us a call right now if you want to ask us a question live. We'll put you on the list right here, the screener. We'll talk to you and we'll put you on the live too. Oh, Kevin's waving. He's waiting for your call. The number here is 800-516-1220. That's 800. Come on, San Francisco. Pull over. Don't crash the car. Write down your phone number, my phone number, in your phone, and then call me at 800-516-1220. This is Open House Radio. My name is Howard Cohen. We'll be right back.
Why don't you trade stocks? What is stopping you from achieving your financial goals? Is it time, knowledge, or money? Teacher, Entrepreneur of the Year, stock trader, talk show host, author, and yes, businessman, Phil Grandy appreciates the working investor. And Phil's Gang understands tight budgets and constrained schedules. That's why at Phil's Gang, we are designed to be there for you online around the clock so you can become a better informed trader. Knowledge. Phil teaches you how to read, understand, and execute stock charts and make trades. Money. Phil's Gang is only $39.95 a month, while competitors and your money managers stab you with mass fees. Time. All Phil's Gang material is archived, so you won't miss Phil's market updates, recommendations, and what Wall Street doesn't want you to know. For only $39.95 a month, take the time, invest in your future, and gain the knowledge on how to turn profits with Phil Grandy and Phil's Gang. Go to philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Don't wait. Go to philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com today.
You know what that means, Stephen?
It's time to buy CDs, Howard.
That's right. CDs, DVDs, new and used. And where do you get them?
The best shop in California, Amoeba Records. The only shop in California that matters when you're talking about shopping for good music.
That's right. It's probably one of the only ones left, and yet it's the best one. So, who cares about the rest?
So we got San Francisco Amoeba. We got Berkeley Amoeba. We got Los Angeles Amoeba. My band Jane's Addiction did a concert at Amoeba in Hollywood, unannounced, on their stage. And after the show, I went and shopped and got some Olivia Newton-John and some Rod Stewart records.
And they're so cool over there, too. Like when you call over there, the owner of the store answered. One day I called over there. She actually answered the phone herself.
Yeah, they love music, and they love helping people find good music.
If you need any help with anything, you just ask somebody there. They got guys that are the most knowledgeable, guys and girls, I should say, that are the most knowledgeable in their industry and about the different music. And if they can't find it for you, they'll find somebody else that can,
That's
and
true.
They'll help you out. They're really cool about that.
And that's Amoeba Records. In Los Angeles, in Berkeley, California, and San Francisco. They're helping us bring music to you on the American Rock Exchange, and we want to thank Amoeba, and I want to shop at Amoeba. I want to kiss it, hug it, and love it. Amoeba Records.
You're listening to Open House Radio on AM 1220 KDOW.
Took her out, it was a Friday night, I woke alone to get the feeling right.
All right. As much as I'd love to continue to listen to that song all the way through, you're going to have to wait because I want to talk here, and it's really important that you listen. This is Open House Radio. My name is Howard Cohen. I'm here with my partner, Jean-Marc Landau, and my other partner, Scott Basson, as far as our legal advisor here to make sure that we tell you all the right stuff, and he can give you great advice as well. Scott, are you on the line right now? Oh, well, sorry, they're punching you up there. Make sure they come back.
It's too bad I couldn't cut in to talk to Sam about her investment issue.
Oh, sorry. Well, yeah, go ahead. Make a comment on that. Sam was asking about
I
buying property. No, I'm just updating the listeners in case they didn't hear. She was asking about how to get involved in a real estate market, and she's a new investor. So go ahead.
Yeah, actually, my mother lives in Big Bear, and I'm pretty aware of the market there. My suggestion to Sam, and I hope you're still listening, is that if you're looking to buy that house, you should be looking at it because you want to own a house in Big Bear, not as an investment. The economy in Big Bear is not that great. I have had to deal with tenants in Big Bear, and I think you'd be better off actually looking in a different market. Yeah, Jean-Marc was correct. If you buy low, you're going to be able to probably sell it and make a profit down the road, but you're going to have some carrying costs in the meantime. So I think both Howard and Jean-Marc are correct. You probably should be looking at a different market if you're looking for an investment.
Yeah, good. I'm glad we all agree on that. Even though I love Big Bear, I mean, I actually own a home there myself, but it's in a vacation property. We don't rent it out, and we didn't plan to sell it, so that's different. That's a little bit different aspect of it. We have somebody on the line. Let's go to a new caller. This is Lily. Lily, are you there? Hello.
Hi. Yeah, I have a question.
Hi, good morning.
I actually have 2 questions. Yeah,
Okay.
Good morning, you too.
Go ahead.
So the first question is regarding loan. I want to transfer my rental property to LLC, and then I heard the lender don't like that, and a lot of people just transfer anyway without telling the lender. So I don't know whether that's a good idea. And if lender is different from all different, I don't know, is there any lender kind of less more friendly to LLC owned properties?
Okay, well, that you already have a certain lender with you anyway. Jean-Marc, are you on the line there?
I am.
Okay, and that's a question right up your alley, my friend. So
I missed a little bit. Are you transferring to an LLC?
No, I actually am thinking of forming an LLC, so I wanted to kind of ask my lender whether I can transfer it to an LLC first. And they kind of don't like the idea.
No, I mean, it's a touchy situation with lenders. Some lenders have an issue with it. Most don't, even though it happens. If the LLC is primarily the same ownership as the individual ownership, so that you are essentially the sole member of the LLC, or it's you and your husband or a significant other, that usually does not trigger anything. Usually, if you send a notification to the lender of what's going on and send them the paperwork for the LLC, you are still liable personally for the loan because you signed for that personally. What obviously transferring the LLC has other benefits in terms of protecting you from outside claims. The lender would have an inside claim on you, so it really wouldn't affect their position, their equity in the property, or security in the property.
Have you ever heard of them calling a loan? Have you ever heard of them calling a loan due to that? I mean, because of the transfer of? I never have actually.
I'm sure it has happened, but I haven't seen a case myself.
Scott, have you ever heard of that? They call a loan due in a transfer in that situation as long as they continue paying the note?
Most lenders do have a provision that will allow them to call it if you transfer. No, I've never actually heard of it happening. It's very rare. Mostly if you're making your payments, the lenders are okay with it. But it would be a good idea to just notify your lender that you're planning on doing it. And Jean-Marc's right. You need to do you need to be the only member of the LLC. Otherwise, your lender's going to want to know who the partners are and what their finances are.
Oh, okay. Is there any lender kind of more friendly to LLC-owned property than other lenders?
Jean-Marc, are there any that are more friendly towards that? Or
it's hard to tell. I mean, it really depends on who you get on the other end of the line more than who the lender is. Everyone interprets the rules a little bit differently.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing, Lily, one thing that we always kind of keep in mind here is that the lenders right now really don't want to be in the property owning business. They're in the money lending business. So in order for them, I mean, they've got enough foreclosures on their books, and then they have to keep assets on their books when they keep property. So it makes it difficult and not really desirable for them to want to necessarily foreclose for a reason like that when the property is already being paid and kept up. So it's not really a big concern, I don't think. It's just more like a matter of, Scott, said, just to notify the lender and make sure that you're complying with all the things that they would want.
I'm not sure whether I can notify them because I called them. They said they don't allow,
Yeah.
One way to do it is, if you form the LLC, actually send in the mortgage payments with the check from the LLC, and just and you might have include a copy of the formation papers that's showing that you are the only. Essentially, the ownership hasn't really changed, though it has legally. Once they cash your check, they've obviously acknowledged that they received that, and if they don't call the loan right then and there, I believe, and this might be a question for Scott, I believe they've to some extent waived their rights of calling the loan later.
Oh, you mean if I send a notice telling them I'm going to transfer, then also maybe some paper, the LLC, like who's the owner, who's the member of the LLC?
No. What he's saying is, send that paperwork, but also send a check from the LLC. Once they cash the check from the LLC, that means they're going to accept your contract as a change of ownership validity. So
I changed before that. After I changed that, I
right.
That.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
All right.
My concern, if you ask permission beforehand, you may end up, being bounced from department to department while they try to determine, someone not knowing will just say no. Whereas if you just do it and you say, you know what, I needed to do this for estate planning purposes or whatever, the ownership hasn't really changed. I'm still on the hook personally for this because you signed the loan paper. You didn't change the loan paperwork. It really does not change their position, and as such, they should not have any real issue with it. But I would present it to them as basically a finished deed.
Lily, thank you very much for your question. I appreciate that. That was a good question.
Comment, Howard?
Yeah, Scott, go ahead.
She can do that, but she does run the risk that they'll call the loan. I have seen lenders call loans when you try to do things without getting their approval. So it all depends on what the lender's policy is. So if she is going to send this check in, she's going to run the risk that they may call the loan, and she may have to scurry around and redo a loan.
Well, I appreciate that disclaimer, and it's true. I mean, that's definitely a possibility. Although, again, I've never really seen it done. Even in the case where they do subject to financing, they don't necessarily usually call the loan because they don't want the property back, and especially if it's being paid. But whoa, okay, all right. So that was a great question. If you want to ask a question, we have a couple minutes left. We're off here in about 5 minutes. This is Open House Radio. You can give us a call at 800-516-1220. That's 800-516-1220. I got to get out of here in 5 minutes because I'm going to go hit the Outside Lands concert again this afternoon. While you guys are off gallivanting around the country, I'm going to be off gallivanting around the Golden Gate Park, having a good time over there, watching a really good show. I have a couple of companies that I want to quickly tell you about before we get off the air and before I forget. Can you pull the sound down on that? Thanks, I appreciate that. We have a company called a restaurant, which you really ought to check out if you make it up to L.A., up to Hollywood, called Velvet Margarita, that is a sponsor of our show. And Carlos Big Daddy, as he's known to all the good buddies around Los Angeles, is a fantastic guy. And the margarita, Velvet Margarita on Cahuenga, it's between Sunset and Hollywood Boulevard, right in the main strip of really cool, plush, trendy type restaurants. This is a standout place. It's a wonderful, wonderful place. If you go there, be sure to tell Carlos Big Daddy, if he's there, or the maitre d' that we sent you here from Open House Radio. Because if you make it down to Hollywood, if you're going down to L.A., you want to have a great dinner. They have a lot of varieties of tequila. It's a tequila bar. They have incredible margaritas, and they have awesome food, and the ambiance the ambiance is incredible there. So go to the Velvet Margarita and tell them I sent you, Howard Cohen. They will appreciate it, and you will appreciate it. You cannot go wrong. The food is reasonably priced, and it's really, really good. So go check them out. Also, we have a sponsor on the show called Kangen Water, and you might have heard about this. They have distributorships available as far as if you're interested in getting into business with them, and it's a great, great company that I would highly recommend to anybody as far as buying the product. It's water, alkaline water, softeners, and purifier, alkaline water purifiers. And my client, Robert Gradelli, he was going to be on with us today. He's also out of town this week, but we'll probably have him on next week or the week after to talk a little bit about the water. And we're here on this show. The idea, the reason we talk about these different cool restaurants and great products, other than just real estate related stuff, is because we're trying to make your life better. That's what this show is about. It's making your life better, okay? We have a caller on the phone. I want to grab him real quick, and then I'm going to, if you can ask a quick question, Jim, what's your question, please, about?
Hi, this is Jim from San Bruno.
Hey there.
I'm looking at buying a home in Hawaii. I hear the vacation properties are very cheap, but I was wondering if I would have to pay extra taxes as I'm living in California, but I would be owning income property in Hawaii.
You want to know if you're going to pay extra taxes because of California residency, but then you're going to buy a property in Hawaii as an investment?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Honestly, Jim, we don't necessarily get too into the whole tax issues on the show because of the fact that it's so different for every single person, and I personally don't like to talk about individuals' taxes when we're on the radio, only because it makes it a little bit, short and not necessarily really good information. So what I'm going to suggest is that we have accountants that we work with. We have our group of people that we can recommend to you. And if you come into our office or if you give us a call, we're more than happy to sit down and we can go over like more detailed information as far as, because we actually have to be off the air in about 30 seconds here. So I want to make sure to just give out our number. And if you stay on the line, I'll be sure to get on the phone with you right after the show, and I'll make sure to get that information to you. So hang on there, Jim. Thanks for the question. If you want to reach us right now, you can get us at, you can call in. We'll be here for a few minutes in the studio before I hit the concert. 800-516-1220. We always get a load on the phones at the end of the show. So call in, wait on the line until we answer, and we'll get right back to you. You can call in 800-516-1220. Our call-in number during the week, if you want to reach John Mark or me, is 415-484-LOAN. That's 415-484-LOAN. Be sure to give Scott Bassin a call during the week. That's Scott, B-A-S-S-I-N. Scott, what's your number? Do you have a quick phone number for us?
Sure, 415-753-5245, or you can get me on the web at bassinlaw.net.
Excellent.
That's BASSINLAW.net.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much. This is Open House Radio. We'll talk to you next Sunday.